This is a presentation of Northeast Streaming Sports.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another Philly Sports Guy show. Today is Wednesday, August 10th, and we had some stuff happen yesterday. The Phillies were back in business after a day off on Monday, and they had to play in that heat. Couple of rain delays, just nothing stopping them from winning these games. They wind up beating the Marlins 4-1, and they do a pretty nice job starting that whole thing off and starting off this series with a big W and not letting anything kind of slip away with the one day off. They have been really big on, they get that day off and then their bats get a little bit cold. The Marlins have been reeling a little bit. You remember just what was it? Literally maybe 2-3 weeks ago, the Marlins were in the conversation for trying to get that last wild card spot. And when they faced the Phillies, before they faced the Phillies, I believe that they were even one game over 500. And then they got swept by the Phillies right before the All-Star break. They come out of the All-Star break, the Phillies did, and they lost 3 games to the Cubs. And since that time, they have won 12 of 14 games. And on the other side, the Marlins have not been doing so well, where they, like I said, they were one game above 500. Right now, they are 11 games below 500. So it's been a little bit of a mess for the Marlins, but that means we got to make sure to continue to keep our foot on the gas pedal and not let these guys get up at all. Just got to continue to put, like I said, our foot to their throats and make sure that we take care of the business against these teams that we are supposed to win. And we did so yesterday. Some of the stats from yesterday. Schwarber went 2 for 4 without a home run. How about that? He winds up hitting a double. And if I remember correctly, I don't know if it was that game or the game before that. It was a bunt single. So he may not get in the bunt single. He may not have gone with the bunt against the shift. But uh, literally, he's been hitting the ball a lot better at a 207 average. So he's really been coming on pretty strong lately. Let's see. As my phone wants to play games here. Rhys Hoskins, 1 for 4. Alec Bohm, 1 for 3 with an RBI and a walk. He also got caught stealing in this one. But the guy, the big guy right now, JT Realmuto. And if you remember back in June, we were talking about, has he lost it? Should he be trade bait? We can't really afford to have him at the plate with the way he's producing. And he didn't go to Toronto. Took a couple days off. Didn't go to Toronto. And since that moment, he has been on fire. I want to say he's been hitting somewhere around 460, 470 since that trip up there where he did not go. He's hitting 268 now. At one point, he was down around 200, 215. So he's really come on really strong. He wound up with a home run and the double in this game. We went 2 for 4, 2 RBIs, a run scored. So he was obviously doing well. And Gene Segura also, welcome back, Gene, to the lineup. He went 2 for 3, also with a home run. So the Phillies have been doing what they need to do to keep things moving in the right direction. And like I said, 12 of 14, they really are the second hottest team in baseball to specifically the Mets, who have won 13 of 15. And I'd say it's very interesting how this season has progressed. When the Phillies were on their first winning streak of, what did it get up to? It was like 10 games specifically. It might have been 11 or 12 games. Uh, the Braves were also winning a tremendous amount of games. And the Mets were not doing so hot right at that moment, but we caught up a good amount. We were down by like 12 to 13 games, and we caught up a good amount since that time. Now, the Mets are the ones that are on a little bit of a hot streak along with the Phillies winning these games. Winning 12 of 14, that's not easy to do. It doesn't matter who you're playing. The fact that we were able to sweep the Pirates, that we were able to sweep the Nationals. Those are games, 8 games, 2 4-game series. We were able to split with uh, Atlanta in Atlanta, which also that was an important second win against that pitching staff. We went up against their ace and he pitched well, but wind up getting that eked out that one win in the 8th inning on Nick Castellanos' home run. Wound up winning that game 3-1. This is going to be important. The Braves are coming back down to earth a little bit here. There is a possibility. We are 3 games away from them in the wild card. We hold the second wild card right now. We are a game ahead of San Diego and 2 games ahead of the Brewers. So as long as we continue to hold our serve, we should be able to do pretty well. Wheeler last night, 6 innings pitched, 5 hits, 1 earned run. It was a home run given up. He winds up going 11-5 on the season with a 2.63 ERA. Seranthony Dominguez with the save. He gets 1 strikeout in the mix. Alvarado comes in. He gets 2 strikeouts and a walk. Does pretty well as well. Robertson also in the 8th. So they're trying to figure out how they're setting up their bullpen for late inning heroics. And you're not going to always see Seranthony Dominguez save. Yeah, you're going to see Robertson doing some savings. Thompson, it looks like, is going to have closers by committee in very specific roles. So I applaud that he's doing this, because the one thing that we could not stand with Joe Girardi was having pitchers unavailable. You can't go and have pitchers unavailable in your bullpen. Oh, well, he pitched last night, so I can't pitch him again, and blah blah blah. That you've never heard that with Thompson. That Thompson has been like, yep, we're going to pitch whoever we need to pitch, and we're going to stick with the hot hand when we need to. And he did that, and he's been able to do that completely. So it's been pretty good in terms of the way Thompson has really handled this team. And my expectation is, short of a swoon in September that knocks them out of playoff contention, that my expectation is Thompson will lose that interim term going into the playoffs, that he will be the manager. If they make the playoffs, I feel that he will lose that interim term right then and there. And he should. I feel like he deserves it. He's been managing this team greatly, doing a great job. And ultimately, I feel that it's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time before they confirm that he is going to be the manager moving forward here. Tonight, at 7:05, the Phillies are playing the Marlins again. We have Alcantara, who is probably by far the best pitcher in the National League. My expectation is it is his Cy Young to lose, and he's going to be going up against Noah Syndergaard. Alcantara is 10-4 with a 1.88 ERA. He's got in 158 innings pitched. He's got 141 strikeouts and 39 walks. and he has got, I think it's 3 complete games, which is best in the major leagues. So they have been really using him and riding that horse as best as they possibly can. And right, like I said, right now he is absolutely the best pitcher uh, in the National League. And I mean, there's some things to be said about. I mean, you have DeGrom, who's been pitching great. Scherzer has been pitching great. Both of them are Mets. You have the guy out there in LA who can't seem to lose a game. He's like 14-1 out there. So there's some guys that there's some competition, but really when you have all overall talent, uh, mm, Sandy Alcantara is probably the best guy. Noah Syndergaard, who is 6-8, he's got a 4.02 ERA. I won his last outing, his first outing as a Philly. Hopefully, he is able to kind of do the same thing here. He gave up a lot of hits, and I'll say that had more to do with travel than anything else. That of course he had to come into town, you get yourself settled in a hotel, then you're pitching the next day. I got to imagine that there was a little bit of we'll call it jet lag or just travel lag that caused the 11 hits or 12 hits he gave up in that rain shortened game that wound up being won because of a great play on Nick Castellanos' play at the plate and getting out uh, and getting that guy out to make sure that they did not tie the game up in the first game of the Washington series. So there you go. But that, like I said, it's Noah versus Sandy, and our goal this on today is to get to the bullpen. That's what we have to do. We have to get to the bullpen. You don't expect to hit many home runs off of Sandy Alcantara, and that's been the crux of how they've scored a lot of their runs as of late. I mean, in that Washington series, they were hitting bomb after bomb after bomb, and it was like batting practice with those pitchers. Sandy Alcantara, you're not going to be able to do that. Even yesterday, where they were able to hit 2 home runs, where that's where the crux of their runs got scored, not going to be able to do that against this pitcher. So you got to get to him. You're going to have to look at pitches. You want to get his pitch count up high so that you can get like foul balls off and gets him into the 50s and 60s in like the third and fourth inning in pitches. That's going to be the hardest part. Um, and as I see here, New to Philly, welcome to Philadelphia. He has earned the job, correct? Uh, yeah, I felt like just the Girardi himself wound up, you know, I feel like he just wasn't the right personality for this job. And when he got let go, the relief that he felt that was just like he had an interview that day. And you could just say he sounded better. He sounded better than any interview that he had in Philadelphia. Philadelphia is a tough place to play. And not that the Yankees are not, but in New York, I feel that you can get lost in the shuffle a little bit because there's so many other sports teams that are around. And the Yankees are the Yankees that they will disregard the manager a little bit for the talent that's on the field. The talent's got to produce, and they expect more from their talent than they do from their manager. The manager's got to just do what he does best, and that's manage games. I feel that Girardi was not uh, really prepared to have the spotlight solely on him. And because of that, after 3 years and it just being lackluster and this team being meh, and that's what they took on. They took on that responsibility. There was the one play that I saw where he didn't stick up for his player because his head was in the book. And that was really what did it to me. And I was like, okay, now we're done with Girardi. We can't handle him. Uh, you can't handle him anymore as manager. And then it took a little bit of time. And I remember that I said that they were going to get rid of him before the series with the Angels, that he was going to get fired on that day off because they were about to go away right after the series with the Angels, and that you didn't want them, one, to go win a 3-game series, because how do you fire a manager after sweeping? or with even winning the series, and then not giving them the opportunity to play a few games under a new manager as you're about to go on the road, because that road trip was a long one. So, but yes, that interview was a little crazy. It was just, he just seemed relieved. He seemed relieved. And so did the team. The team came out that next day and really that series against the Angels and just spanked them. It was just like, oh, he's gone. Now let's play. Now let's play some ball. And they've been playing ball ever since. I mean, literally, I want to say, I mean, they were 22 and 29. 22 and 29 when that happened. They have lost 19 games, but they have won 39 games. So they are 20 games over 500 with Thompson. And that's shown in the record. We are 13 games above 500 now, and that's and that's they've been doing a great job just keeping it. And like I said, doing what they're supposed to be doing. They have to win these games and beat these teams. We have 8 more games with the Marlins. We have 7 more games with the Nationals, and then we both have 7. We have 7 games with both Atlanta and the Mets. So we're going to have to win those 2 games, those 2 series at least. We should be able to take them. The Marlins, we should win 6 of 8, and with the Nationals, win 5 of 8 or 5 of 7 to be able to hold serve. I'd love to be able to win 5 of 7 with the Mets. However, it's going to be tough because obviously the Mets set up you know, their pitching rotation that we get both of them, Scherzer and DeGrom, here up in this next set. Where Scherzer's going up against Ranger Suarez. And I like Ranger in 5 innings, but then getting into that 6th, 7th, and 8th inning is where 6th inning, he just never seems to get through that 6th inning. So we're going to need to rely on the bullpen. And now that the bullpen is a little bit stronger, we'll be able to do better. DeGrom and Nola, they usually have great pitching duels. And interestingly enough, we seem to, once we get DeGrom out of the game, we usually beat the Mets. For some reason or another, DeGrom, that's the decision in this. But when he starts against the Phillies, they wind up losing. So hopefully we're able to hold serve with that. Just to go over very quickly on the standings right now, we are 10 games back of the division from the Mets. The Mets are holding a 72 and 39 record, where we are 61 and 48, and 3 games behind the Braves at 65 and 46. So they are holding a 3-game lead on us in the wild card, and we are holding a 1-game lead on the Padres, 2-game lead on the Brewers outside looking in. And the closest behind them are the Giants at 6.5 back in the wild card. I mean, and then, like I said, the Marlins, who have really been reeling, are now 11 games back. The Diamondbacks are 10 games back, so they're not really in. The Giants are 2 games above 5, or 2 games below 500. So I don't know that they're going to be able to make a run for that as well. So it looks like whoever is going to win in that Central Division, the Cardinals or the or the Brewers, who the Cardinals right now hold a 1-game lead on that. So if by chance they wind up tied, whoever is got that is going to be 1 game back in the wild card race to the Phillies. Because as of right now, they, like I said, the Brewers are actually holding a 1-game disadvantage to the Cardinals. So they are in second place and looking up in that division. And like I said, everybody else doesn't matter. The Yankees are reeling. They are now tied with Houston with the best record in the American League at 71 and 40. But the best record in Major League Baseball is now owned by the LA Dodgers, who didn't really do much at the trade deadline, are 76 and 33. With the Mets closely behind. The Mets have now actually overtaken the Yankees and the Astros for the second best record in baseball at 72 and 39. So we're still waiting for that swoon to happen for the Mets. You know how they like to give it up here a little bit, but hopefully, they do that sooner than later. Let's start with this weekend series with the Phillies, where maybe their bats go to sleep, and we can take 2 of 3 from them. Like I said, we have 7 games left with them, and it's going to be important to see if we can go like 5-2 to save some face. The Mets have kind of owned us this year, and we have to be able to get some of that back as we move forward and finish out this season. All right, real quickly, let's take a quick commercial break, and I'll be back right after that to talk about everything else that's going on in Philly sports. So we'll be back in just a moment.
The Hometown Foundation is excited to bring back the Dream Ride experience, August 26th to the 28th at Connecticut's Farmington Polo Club. Join us in celebrating the accomplishments of our Dream Riders while enjoying live music, a car and motorcycle show, family fun zone, pet adoptions, canine demonstrations, the Fireman's Chili Cook-Off, and much, much more. Get your tickets today.
I mean, you can see right now, without LeBron, Lakers are struggling.
Let me tell you about a team I hate, all right? I know the Dallas Cowboy fan is here, so I had to make sure he knew how much I hate this team.
I'm ready.
I've often said that the people who run baseball, they try very hard to ruin it.
I'm from Brooklyn. I don't have a problem saying it to his face. Oh, I'm from Brooklyn. Hey, guess any.
And we are back. Just to let you know I didn't show the commercial today, but I am going to talk about them a little bit. Philly Sports Trips. Go to phillysportstrips.com. Detroit, we are going to opening day. We are going to take a trip up there. So come on up there. We're going to be there. We're sitting lower bowl. It's going to be a lot of fun to talk and beat Detroit again this year. We crushed them last year. It was on Halloween, which means that it was a little bit of a tougher trip to get up there. There wasn't as many Eagles fans as there could have been because everybody's got families and stuff. And for Halloween, you're going to do that. But now we start off the season with them, and we're going to be up there. And you know that you can go with Philly Sports Trips at phillysportstrips.com/TPSG, and you can see all the trips that are going on. We have the Detroit chip. We're going to Washington. We have 600 people already. We're going with 1,000. So definitely you want to sign up for that. It's $325 for a ticket to go to Washington. Only $325. You could barely get into the link for $325. So definitely come down there. We go. You're getting the transportation. You're getting the tailgate. We got the lower bowl tickets. And, of course, we take over that stadium. The last time we shook it down just about to the ground with all of us being there. As you can see, they needed to tighten up all the bolts from everything that happened last year. But it's, like I said, we are going to be taking over that stadium again. And hopefully we can just knock it down to the ground. Everybody bring their umbrellas just in case any of those pipes burst. You don't want to have any of that stinky water coming onto you. Yesterday, there was a surgery. The surgery heard round Philadelphia. Travis Kelce got his elbow cleared out of some tendonitis and stuff like that. He was getting some discomfort, and he had a routine clean out. They're saying that he's going to be fine, that he will be ready to go for week 1, that this was just a normal procedure, and that it was no big deal. The jokes were being made that, hey, this is from, backhanding Cowboys fans and drinking beer. It's just a lot of up and down, up and down. The truth of the matter is that his elbow is actually very important type of situation. He's had some of this before in the past. As you know, he may have been wearing that brace before, but it's going to be, he's going to be fine and back to start the season. At least that's what we hope. Everything's going to be up and running for him. He gets this done now so that he gets rid of that discomfort. If you remember seeing that brace last year, I think he played a few games with it specifically. And he didn't want to get him off the field. He did the same thing here. He's not going to want to get off the field as well. And you know what, Sergi? Absolutely. It is a great area. We are actually going to Eastern Market to do our tailgates instead of Greektown. But that is a great area. I used to live in Detroit for a little time. Back in 97. Yeah, that was right during the time when the Flyers were unfortunately having a choking situation. I was living up at a place called Warren, Michigan, and got to literally hear it from every Detroit Red Wings fan in Hockeytown, USA. And that was when Iserman and Fedorov just really, um, just kind of took it to us. We were favored in that series and wind up losing 4 games straight. And Terry Murray was unceremoniously fired right afterwards uh, because they had a choking situation. So, anyways, the Eagles came out with the first depth chart, the unofficial depth chart, and it's interesting to see some of the things that were out there. I'm going to see if I can pull this up here because it's not giving me. Well, of course, now it's not going to be able to see. Jalen Hurts is probably not going to start against the Jets. They obviously have the game on Friday. He's not going to play a down, and I don't think that they need to. You're probably going to see Sinet a lot, and you know Minshew, who's not been having a good camp. He's been throwing interceptions left and right. At least that's what the story has been. And Carson Strong is just not strong enough. He's probably going to make the practice squad and both Sinet and Strong will probably make the practice squad. But from what we were told and what I have heard from camp is that Carson Strong has just not gotten grasp of the offense yet, and so he's a little bit behind. Uh, Miles Sanders is the number 2 back, but it looks, at least that this is what they are reporting, that Kenneth Gainwell is about even with Boston Scott, if not a little bit ahead. I think Kenneth Gainwell is probably the better back. That Boston Scott is a great back, but he's a great back, one, because he's really small and it's hard to find him amongst all those monsters that are on the offensive line. So I feel that that's the good part about him. He's going to come and he's going to be able to do certain things really well and be a great third back. But I think Gainwell is going to wind up taking that number 2 spot. They say Jason Huntley is also somewhere in the mix there, probably right behind in the number 4 spot from there. A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith, and Quez Watkins are, of course, the number 3, but there is a little bit of a logjam on who are the other 2. Jalen Reagor has impressed in this preseason. So he's been doing well, and literally he's actually jumped over Greg Ward. And then, of course, there's Zach Pascal, who is is not a fan favorite, but a favorite of the coach. He played with Nick Sirianni in Indianapolis and was one of the signings that came here. They, are friends. They like each other, and I feel like he's going to probably be the number 4 receiver, which means unless they're going to keep 6, one of Jalen Reagor or Greg Ward is going to wind up going. And it'll be interesting to see who wins that battle. But that being said, that leaves not much room, if any, for JJ Arcega-Whiteside, who probably is not going to make this team. He switched to a tight end. He is the last tight end on that depth spot with Rodgers coming back. Obviously, he hasn't gotten up to game shape yet, but with Rodgers coming back, it's going to be a big deal. And Tyree Jackson is on the PUP list, PUP. So, and I know that he is a beast. So when he comes back, it's going to be him. And I think that JJ winds up getting cut, unfortunately, for JJ. Not unfortunately for us, because we've seen him how he does. Brandon Brooks retiring means that Isaac Seumalo is going to be at the right guard position. He's able to play either left or right guard. He's been able to do it. Driscoll is listed as the backup to the tackle, and Jack Anderson is the backup to the guard, and LaRaven Clark is the third tackle, but we have the deepest offensive line. I expect that they're going to be able to move around. I've always felt that Seumalo was the weakest link on that line, so my expectation is that he is going to he's going to rotate out really quickly. Tomorrow, we will go over the defensive side of the ball and who is on the depth chart, specifically at the big one in safety. I kind of feel that there still could be a move made for the safety in Cincinnati. I know he hasn't gone anywhere yet. But, anyways, I appreciate everybody for hanging with me today. And we'll see you again tomorrow. And as always, go Philly. Yeah. Have a great